Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Roland is our favorite synth brand for a reason. They created the framework for modern sound synthesis, accidentally defined the de facto standard for both electronic drum sound and acidic farts, and rang in an era of all-in-one preset collections powered by what seemed to be the CPU of a 90s fax machine. Today we are going to talk about the MC-101, this most recent model of Roland's Groovebox range and little sibling of the flagship MC-707, has all the makings of a future classic. The trademark sound, the relentless recycling of dated technology, and every random limitation and UI quirk a guy like me could wish for. At the first glance, the MC-101 is, of course, ticking all the boxes. An OP1 for goth kids, with a non-velocity sensitive rubber keyboard, leftover IRA controls, and the soothing radioactive glow of an 80s display. 4 versatile engines, we're rolling up, with a fader each, are based on 128 voices of zen-core, Roland's latest incarnation of souped-up Rompler technology. You can dial in drums with compression, all kinds of Roland dairy products, and a sample player with a focus on loops. If you are a fan of Rolandian tones, you won't be disappointed. A pandemonium of TRs and TBs, all kinds of Js, an unhealthy dose of GM, and a few more modern sounds thrown in for good measure. Although these engines are supposed to be technically identical to the MC-707, the minuscule UI comes with a few limitations. Sure, filter cutoff is instantly accessible, but you will have to enter the terrifying underworld of menu diving to reach a rudimentary amp envelope, 4 macro parameters, and basic functionality like Unison. A similarly menu-divey partial editor was added in a firmware update, and it gives me D110 PTSD. Grooveboxes are all about the intuitive amalgamation of sequencers and sound generators, and Roland really upped their game in this respect. Well, kind of. An Ableton-like clip matrix lets you trigger patterns of up to 128 steps. You can elegantly manage the unit's ample polyphony. There are specialized modes for drums and tonal sounds, and Roland introduced contemporary features like Polymeters, Substeps, probability, motion recording, and a less streamlined Elektron-style P-Lock knockoff. FX are the machine's strong suit.
Tried and tested Roland algorithms
in both the master section and per track.
We're rolling up.
The inevitable scatter effects for real-time chopping and mangling, and nice modulation FX. Reverbs and delays. Sample management is simple but functional. You can import your own sounds from an SD card. It's easy to load them into drum kits. Use them as the foundation of a tonal instrument and time stretch the hell out of them with a looper.
Faster!
In contrast to its bigger sibling, the 101 doesn't have an audio input, so the only sources for actual sampling are USB audio and resampling of the internal tracks and master. In spite of the countless improvements over earlier models, the menus and shortcuts come with the charm of the MC-303. Connecting the units to my computer introduced one of the most disgusting USB whines of all time to my entire signal chain. There is surprisingly deep integration into the zen-core ecosystem and the OS is still a little raw. You can find MC-101s for around $500. Thanks to Klangfarbe for lending me one of their floor models, and even more thanks for not calling the cops after I didn't bring it back for weeks. The MC-101 is filled to the brim with classic sounds, it is super portable, and Roland added plenty of modern features. Is it on par with the latest generation of Grooveboxes? You have already heard the Groovebox in today's intro tune. Nothing a few presets can't handle. Time to put the MC-101's workflow and internal sounds to the test. My fingers are still hurting from the strangely unergonomic keystroke combinations, but the overall tone is modern, professional sounding and very Roland. People tend to get excited about the vinyl simulation of the SP303. I wanna know if the phonograph effect is up to the task, and let's combine some classic boom bap samples with the internal patch library. Not sure how it would fare in a direct comparison with Diller's finest, but it certainly helps to blend samples and overly clean presets. The workflow can't hold a candle to instruments with a more streamlined UI. Stepping through the sounds feels like listening to a Roland best of. Let's embrace 4 decades of synth clichés in this lactose-free 80s cheese pâté for VHS heroines and nostalgia core warriors. With its minuscule controls, anachronistic display and deep menus, the MC-101 is far from being a great standalone groovebox. It is, however, a Swiss Army knife for music production and performance. High polyphony count and compact form factor turn it into the ideal sound module for hand luggage only flights, and it's a convenient option if you want to add conventional sounds to a DAW-less setup or electronic sounds and loops to a real band. Speaking of real bands, Roland seems like the one artist you've been listening to since your childhood, who went through countless sellouts and revivals, and you still managed to find something you like even in a 25th incarnation of that one album they've been putting out since 1997. I think I'm gonna buy some merch. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.